never feel cool enough for stuff like this.
Obviously not the conversation we were hoping to have.
Our plans for transfer number 2.
If there's something that we need to do, we'll talk about it.
This is not a drill.
The Sims 4 giveaway that I have going on.
Based on the fact that everything else looked good, I would
Hello my friends, I am currently getting ready for today's stream. If you guys don't know, I stream on Twitch on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it is a way to make sure I keep my inner gamer girl alive. I have been playing video games since Nintendo 64 was like the it console to have, basically. And then pretty shortly after that, I would say, my cousin showed me the light and introduced me to The Sims, and the rest is history. So over there, we play a lot of cozy games, but it's mainly The Sims. And then recently I've been into Disney Dreamlight Valley. We've played Animal Crossing. We love Stardew Valley. Really cozy stuff over there. But today is going to be a shorter stream because your girl here got invited to an early access press event. I never feel cool enough for stuff like this. I don't think I'll ever feel cool enough for stuff like this. But we've been invited to get a sneak peek of the Gardens Aglow event that happens in Boothbay Harbor, Maine, which is up kind of near my parents' house, so it works out perfectly. And we go to this event every single year anyway, so to be able to get a sneak peek of this year's show is going to be incredible. But I have to get ready for my stream, and then after that, we're going to hop in the car right away to get up to my parents' house. So it's gonna be a little chaotic. So I thought I would tell you guys about this event now in case you guys are in the area or you're wanting to do some really fun Christmas things and you love coming to Maine. It's becoming quite the location for very festive, cozy holiday events and just cozy vibes all around. Very New England, very cozy. I don't know how I'm gonna talk and do this at the same time. I'm already having trouble. It's gonna be freaking cold there too, so I'm not really looking forward to that, but I've got this small little shell on. It's got fleece inside, and these are fleece lined leggings. And then I'm gonna put a Sherpa pullover over this before I put on my massive down winter jacket. But anyways, if you guys don't know what Gardens Aglow is, it's basically a massive like Christmas lights show in the botanical gardens up in Boothbay Harbor, Maine. And I know that doesn't sound like super like, oh my gosh, that would be so cool. Like the things that these people and artists do for a freaking like holiday light show around their gardens is insane. Like it's so creative. It's so much more than like stringing Christmas lights over trees. Like the displays that they create throughout their gardens is so fun and so cool. And you can get holiday refreshments there, and you can like walk around with your hot chocolate, and the kids are all running around the little fairy garden. It's just like the freaking coolest thing and like such a fun Christmas event. Our cousins come up to Maine every year in order to see like Santa off the lobster boat and go into all of the small business shops around Christmas time, and of course going to Gardens Aglow. So I'm so excited. I can't believe we get to see a little preview of this year's show. I got foundation on my phone. That's really freaking cool. Anyway, they sent me a thing, so let me tell you a little more about this year's show. So this is Garden Aglow's 8th year. Their first year, they had 36,000 attendees, and then this year they expect it to climb to 120,000 attendees. It's definitely a party to be a part of, that's for sure. This year, the celebration returns to its roots as a self-guided walking tour, which is huge because the past few years they have done like a car tour due to the vid. So for it to just go back to its roots and you can just like walk around and see the lights and stuff, is just a completely different and like more immersive experience. So I'm so excited about that. This year's lights display features more than 750,000 energy efficient LED lights. That is insane. Woven through 14 acres of central gardens. That includes over 700 trees and shrubs, which, if laid end to end, is around 66 miles of lights. This is not a drill. They will feature over 250 lighted flowers, 3 dozen lighted animals, including 3 moose, a ruby-throated hummingbird, several ducks, geese, a fox, a turtle, owls, and a dragonfly, 2 dozen assorted mushrooms. This year, 5 10-foot mushrooms will make their debut. We gotta find all the mushrooms today, friends. It takes us 12 weeks to get all of the lights put up and ready for the event. They start taking the lights down January 2nd, and that takes them about 10 weeks to get it all down and packed away. That's wild. The local food vendors featured this year. Oh, Jack is going to be so excited for this year. It'll be Betsy's Fudge, Coastal Maine Popcorn, which if you try their dill pickle popcorn, let me know. It's incredible. Bixby's Chocolate Holy Donut. Wait until Jack hears about that. Holy Donut is gonna be there. Sweet and salty kettle corn and Fields blueberries. So I can't wait to give you guys a sneak peek of what this is gonna look like. If you guys are not following me on Instagram most likely sees stuff like this first. So go ahead and follow me over there if you're not following already, because I can't wait to just be on my stories all night showing you guys the displays. And they also said that I can bring a guest, and Jack so graciously let me bring my mom, because my mom is a huge Christmas fanatic, and getting a sneak peek of the gardens is just like VIP status for her. Like, we've made it. We have a VIP secret pass to view the gardens first. And for us Mainers up here, between that and the Dunkin' event that we got invited to in April, I can die happy now.
Let's go outside, the snow is falling down and every child is having so much fun. The snowman is twice the size as me, with a smile as quirky as mine. We're holding hands to keep each other warm while we stand and watch a choir performing all the Christmas songs that we love. Yeah, all the Christmas songs that we love. And in a while we're gonna go inside and drink our chocolate by the fire. 'Cause all I want is to spend this day with you. Let me give you a Christmas, a moment we'll fill with love and joy. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. I don't need any presents, as long as I spend this day with you. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. Ooh. I'm making plans of what we're gonna do. I feel so blessed that I can be with you, 'cause God knows that I've been longing for you. I just wanna hold you close. You know the stars are shining just for you. Let's take a walk and we can follow the moon.
I'm not gonna lie, having that like little kid rocking chair behind me is definitely freaking me out. You guys just let me know if it starts to rock on its own, alright? But hello my friends, a little different setup today because I am currently at my parents' house for the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. And it's gonna be really fun. I'm gonna film some of it, so that should be coming up in the next vlog so you guys can see a little bit of our traditions, our table setup, all of that fun stuff. But the first thing I wanted to pop in and let you guys know about more is the Sims 4 giveaway that I have going on in the community in general. I announced it first on Twitch and in our Discord, which is kind of connected to the Twitch community, but it's for our community in general, calling all sim lovers wherever you watch my content. This is going to be a shell challenge giveaway, and it's our 3rd shell challenge ever. If you don't know what a shell is, I make the bare bones of a structure within The Sims. I just put full walls, I put the general shape of the thing, and then I put it on the gallery for all of you guys to download and then make it whatever you want. I'll make sure to put the
full rules in the community tab here on YouTube, but the full rules are also within my Discord, and they're also in the description when you go to the gallery to download it, so you guys can see all of the information there. But basically, anybody who enters, all skill levels welcome, is going to be entered into a Holiday Sims giveaway. It's going to be any Sims 4 pack of the winner's choosing, and you can even choose to just hold on to your pack for a later date for when The Sims announces maybe a different pack that you guys might be looking forward to. What if one of you guys wins and holds on to it until like The Sims 5 comes out? Like, there's no expiration. You guys can hold on to it for as long as you want. The only restriction is it's for PC/Mac users only, because I'll be gifting through Origin. But yeah, I love doing these giveaways occasionally for all of my Sims 4 lovers out there, and it's just a way that I can give back for all of the support that I receive in the community with a game that I love and is near and dear to my heart. But anyway, on to the main event. The other times that I've shared follow-up calls with my doctor, you all have found it extremely helpful. Whether you learned something new from that phone call, whether it was simply just interesting to you, or if you learned of some questions that you might want to ask your own providers, I love sharing it because I know a lot of you guys get something out of them. So for those reasons, I am choosing to share our follow-up consultation or follow-up phone call from our failed embryo transfer. However, there's just two things to keep in mind before I roll that footage. Number one is a gentle reminder to anybody new in the community that I am not, unless I specifically ask in a video, asking for any medical advice outside of what Jack and I are discussing with our own medical team. I know that 99.9% of the time you guys mean well and you just want to see the best for Jack and I, but there are so many different avenues to go down with regards to fertility, whether it's a switch in medication or different tests that you can run and different procedures that you can have, different vitamins, different lifestyle changes that we are aware of, but we find it more hurtful than helpful when the internet just adds to that noise. We share our journey just to share our journey with others in hopes that somebody might find comfort in it. We don't share it because we are looking for medical advice over the internet. Thank you all so much for respecting that. I super appreciate it. On a similar note, I have found that I have to strike that balance of sharing things that may be helpful to others while keeping some details that are sensitive to us out of videos in order to keep our personal peace. There is a portion of this video that I have chosen not to share for this reason, but I do want to share the overall takeaway of that portion because that's the part that might be really helpful. When an embryo transfer fails, there are so many tests and procedures and things that come to mind when we're in search of a reason of why it failed and what we can do different to move forward, because we just don't want to feel that pain again, and we'll do anything to make sure that doesn't happen. And we are aware of these tests and things, whether it's through infertility content that I watch or conversations with our own medical team or our own research. Switching up the angle because it's getting a little glary and a little sunshiny over there. But anyway, during the part of the video I'm choosing to leave out, my doctor and I revisit some of those discussions and questions that I have surrounding these things, surrounding these tests, these procedures that I had questions about, so that Jack and I felt completely comfortable leaving that phone call with regards to our plans for transfer number 2. The steps before that treatment plan ended up getting a little bit hairy after this phone call for reasons that will be abundantly more clear in the upcoming vlog, so stay tuned. But the main thing that I want you to take away from this missing portion, this missing clip, is to ask your questions. If you have heard of different tests or different things that you can look into, whether it's through infertility content online, through friends and family, or through your own research yourself, ask and talk through these things with your doctor until you are 100% satisfied with their answers and their reasoning when it comes to your next steps for your treatment plan. I know you have that confidence in you. If I have found that confidence in me, and if I have been able to learn how to advocate for myself in these situations, I know you can. I know you have it in you. I have one more overall takeaway with regards of what we are choosing to do moving forward with transfer number 2, but before we visit that one, I'm gonna roll the clip of our discussion with our doctor regarding our failed transfer and what we're gonna do moving forward. How's it going?
I am well. Is this an okay time for you?
It is, yes. Jack is joining me now.
Obviously not the conversation we were hoping to have. How are you feeling at this point, physically at least?
Yeah, physically I'm totally fine. My cycle started like last Friday, and it was a doozy, but it's over. So feeling good, feeling like we can, you know, emotionally move on and stuff. Obviously it was devastating, but time has passed, so we're excited for next steps.
I think, obviously we want these things to work every time, and I know you've been through a lot of stuff to know that lots of things don't work every time.
Yeah.
Everything on paper looked the way it should. Your uterine lining, the embryo thawed well, everything else seemed good.
Okay.
Transfer process was smooth, no issues there. There are realistically times where this just doesn't work. And,
Okay.
The reason that, IVF success rates are in the 50% range is that, there's about half of the time that they just don't work. And it's not necessarily a predictor that something, bad is happening or that you can't get pregnant.
Okay.
Many times it's just sort of random things about that particular circumstance. So the embryo itself, even though we know a lot about it, we don't know if they're all, they're not all destined to keep going. Everything can look great on the hormones and where we put the embryo, but it may just sort of not line up in the right spot or something like that. So there are some, non-specific things that are unique to this round that won't be repeatable because it's going to be a different, everything next time, new embryo, new, timing, new lining and everything. So, I would say, whenever we do this and it doesn't work the first time, we don't want to go through a trial and error process, but I would say based on the fact that everything else looked good, I would just take another attempt with a different embryo.
Okay.
And, see where we get from there. If you, have another transfer where the embryo doesn't take, and it's, no pregnancy at all, or if you get pregnant that stops, then we're going to have new information to sort of make a decision. So my counseling will be different if this happens again, just because, one coin toss that doesn't go your way is not necessarily an issue, but, in a world where we don't have that many attempts at this, having, two embryos that look good that don't implant, I would be more concerned. And then we're going to start going down the is there something else going on with your uterine lining or, implantation issues or something like that. And it's not that we can't do that now, but it's sort of we don't want to make it a problem if it's not necessarily a problem yet.
Okay, so it just sounds...
sort of draw that line on the next attempt here.
That makes sense. So and we kind of figured that. It just sometimes... it just doesn't work, and that does not mean that the next time won't.
Correct. I think your chances of success this time are the same as they were last time.
Okay.
And, if you get pregnant this time, then you will be like a normal statistic in the world of IVF.
Okay.
If you don't get pregnant, then, that's when we sort of start kind of going down the pathways of all right, well, is there something that we should know differently about your uterine lining or the embryos or something like that, or other things to start testing. So
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, we never want to be casual about these things. We never want to be wasteful of time, dollars, energy, embryos, or any of that stuff. But there is some, kind of dice rolling that has to happen in order to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
The good news is that, it's better to not have an actual problem so far, right? You don't have a thin lining, you don't have, weird embryos, anything like that. But,
especially if everything looked good on paper, that totally
makes
makes
sense. With less to improve upon, but each time you're picking a different embryo, it's going into a different uterine environment. So.
Yeah.
Even if you beg me not to do stuff, at a certain point, I'm gonna I want to, keep you happy and not stressed out during this process, but I also don't, if there's something that we need to do, we'll talk about it. But, know that, you're not going to talk me into or out of, giving you advice just because you don't want to do something.
Okay, yeah, no, I appreciate it. I need it. So thank you for sharing.
You did really well during the transfer.
Thank you.
You were
those drugs were magic, actually.
Drugs were good, right? But, in general, even I bet without the drugs, you would have been fine.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Honestly, the only other question we had was regarding, I'm going to let Jack talk about it, but our insurance, we're trying to get some money back for something that they didn't cover, but we feel like maybe a letter from you that has a lot of scientific things in it might help us.
Yeah, they...
Okay, yeah, what did they push back on?
The second retrieval, so it basically, because we already had one egg from the first retrieval, they didn't approve the second retrieval, but they obviously don't know, Mac's medical history with low ovarian reserve or different factors that could play into that. So basically anything from you to indicate that, like, this was kind of necessary or needed to gather these eggs.
Or like not knowing where my AMH level would be the next time we go in for it, which they would have had to cover anyway. Like, we have 2 cycles on our insurance, so they would have had to cover, like, if we wanted more kids in the future, we would have asked them to cover another one, but who knows where my AMH could be at that point, and that's why we went in for a second retrieval versus transferred our 1 embryo we got from the first one.
Right. We're not just harvesting eggs.
We're not just trying. Yeah, exactly.
You're building an army.
Exactly.
Secret plan.
But yeah, it might not work, but just anything that you could put in writing from our doctor would be really helpful.
Yeah, I can work through that for sure.
Thank you so
That'd be
much.
awesome.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, they're all pretty similar. There's a 5AA, a 4AA, 2 3AAs, and a 3AB. So generally we would sort of pick the next highest grade. The one from the previous cycle was a 5AA as well, and I don't remember which one we used first, but maybe that.
It said number 6 on our paper, so we don't know what exactly that means.
Yeah, hold on, I don't know what that means either. As much as I have a working knowledge of your embryo inventory, I have not memorized the...
You mean for all your patients, you don't memorize every single embryo that's in their inventory?
Exactly.
Not yet.
So, okay, embryo number 6 was... Yeah, so that was actually the one from the second cycle. Because we only had 4 embryos the first time around. There are 4 eggs, so it would have been embryo number 6 anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was the 5AA from the second cycle.
Okay.
So the next most likely embryo that we would pick would be the 5AA from the June cycle.
Our first ever embryo?
Your first ever embryo.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Obviously we'll defer to you in the lab, but that's cool to know that if we do a 5AA, that it's just that one, like it's from the first one. Well, I don't have any other questions. Anything else that you wanted to cover?
No, I think that's the bulk of it. So
Awesome. Let's get this baby. Let's do it.
let's get this baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That's cool to know that one, or just like which one it was.
Yeah.
You
I don't
know?
know. Like, I just assumed that they would pick the best one, or they kind of
They
leave
do.
it up. Right.
Yeah.
But I was sort of, what if the best one's number 3, or
Yeah.
because he labeled it. But after he said that, like, the number's arbitrary,
Yeah.
then I was like, okay, yeah. But I like 5 is our first one.
It is our first ever one.
That's the one we were like, we only need 1.
I've never thought that we only need one, to be honest.
I thought.
And that was so nice of him to be so receptive to like writing a letter to our insurance too.
Oh, he was immediately, he's like, oh yeah.
He's like, what do
need?
you need? We already knew that he's just not the biggest fan of like insurance companies anyway.
Yeah,
like
they're
with
fucking
like
crooks.
they're pretty awful. At the end of the day, I can like reason through why they are requiring us to do certain things. It's just emotionally and like personally and people wise, I hate them.
It's a blessing and a curse. Like, I'm so happy that we can have insurance and it's helped us so far.
It's so true.
There's
there's
many pain points with it too. Like, oh
yeah, there's so much that it has covered, and I don't want to like lose sight of that.
I hate that it's a necessity.
Like, what do you mean?
Oh, like you need to have it. Like, I don't think like it would be so hard to do any of this stuff without it.
We'd need it.
Yeah.
Like, we wouldn't be able to do a second retrieval most likely
Yeah.
on our own finances if we didn't want to like drain our accounts, you know, like
Yeah.
having any coverage whatsoever has been like
Well, even
a
talking
godsend.
to our foreign friends, like
Oh, they don't
they
even
had
have
insurance, but like it literally still didn't even cover it. Like even
Yeah.
then, like here, like I don't know. It's like it's a blessing and a curse.
It's fascinating having talked to, just different women from around the world. And like, we have this like idea that every other country's like healthcare system is gold standard and like ours is absolute shit. But when you actually like talk to people outside, it's like, yeah, there are benefits to each one.
Totally.
Like, there's not a gold standard, and they have their own heartbreaks and frustrations with their healthcare system when it comes to getting coverage for specialty things such as IVF. Like the free healthcare, that's amazing, but they're on a 4-year waiting list for IVF, and that's not like the reason you go into IVF is because you're done waiting. Some of the countries and a lot of the ones that I've been like talking to, it's like they don't have an option. Like there's no coverage if they skip the line for 4 years, like the 4-year line. And then in other countries, it's like a mix of both. It's just crazy. Like, so in those instances, like I feel really angry at insurance sometimes about certain things, obviously, but at the same time, like they have saved us thousands of dollars.
Totally.
They really have. How do you feel?
I feel good
After that?
Yeah, I'm excited. Hey, we get our first one in. We're putting them in, coach.
Oh, that's cool that we know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love you.
I love you too. You feel good?
Yeah, I do. So the overall takeaway with regards to our next transfer that I've become overly comfortable with within the last few weeks is that transfers fail all the time. They fail all the time. Everything could look perfect on paper between our lining, our blood levels, hormone levels, our embryo grade. Everything could look so good and it still could fail. It's a tough pill to swallow, but also a comforting one at the same time, especially with all of these messages and comments that I've received with people whose first transfers failed, but their second one stuck. It's a great reminder to myself to not lose hope because so many women have been in my position before. And it's comforting to know that just because this one didn't take, it doesn't mean the next one won't. But anyways, my friends, that is going to be it for today's vlog. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did and you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, make sure to do so down below to keep up with our next steps and to cheer us on our road to baby. Everybody do not forget to give this video a big old thumbs up and I'll catch you in the next one, my friends. We'll see you later. Bye!